Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.
You're watching Conversations with Jennylyn, and wherever you are in the world, I am so excited to share my guest today with you because he is doing something phenomenal. And it's so amazing that it's difficult to believe its authenticity. But he has a lot of evidence to support what he is claiming. I have read pages of testimonials that people have sent to him. You may have seen him on my show earlier this year, and I've decided to bring him back because you may be someone he can help. His name is Tom Paladino, and he is a researcher and inventor of scalar light and energy. And he is using this to cure all types of diseases, including the COVID virus. So today, he will share more with us on how he's doing this and the ways he can help humanity. Welcome to my show again, Tom.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation once again.
It's always a privilege to share the screen with people that are doing good in the world. So
thank you.
I'm excited for you to tell everyone how much your company has grown and how you are saving people.
Okay, well, with that introduction, let me continue and thank you for that high praise. I hope I'm deserving of it, Jennylyn.
I think you are.
God bless. I work with energy. It's known as scalar energy. What do I mean? It's chi or prana or 0-point energy. I've developed scalar energy instruments. They're not electrical instruments. And with these scalar energy instruments, we can do things such as balance the 7 chakras. It is fantastic, incredible what you can do with a scalar energy instrument. So this is groundbreaking research, and this is what we're going to speak about. Scalar energy instruments and how they can improve the health of people, spiritual, emotional, cognitive, even physical health. And what's incredible about this technology is everything is at a distance. What do I mean? A scalar energy instrument works with people at a distance. All of my sessions are exclusively administered to photographs. People do not come for in-person sessions. So when we're working in a scalar energy paradigm, it really is a photographic paradigm or a spiritual paradigm. And I work with everybody by way of their photograph or their animal for that matter. And we have discovered that there is a connection in that spiritual realm or that realm of chi or prana in which with a photograph, you can make a connection, a link with a person or an animal anywhere in the world. So this is a groundbreaking technique that I've developed. The instruments are quite different. They are unique. They are custom-built instruments. And I'm confident to say there's so many benefits to be derived from this energy. Again, it's not electricity. So it's a new and emerging science. Okay, we're not working with electromagnetic energy. So we're working with scalar energy, which is really undergirded by different scientific principles and different philosophical thinking. So with that in mind, I am a scalar energy researcher, and I've developed instruments that work with photographs exclusively, but we can improve the human constitution considerably.
So Tom, I know a lot of people, when they hear you speak of something like chakras, for them it's like mumbo jumbo. They're like, that's that weird stuff that people believe in. I don't believe in chakras. I've had people say this to me. And I used to be one of those people. So I don't judge them because what they're saying is relatable. Can you explain to my viewers how everyone has chakras and what they are?
Yeah. Well, there's 7 chakras. Why 7? 7 is a perfect number. God works in his perfect creation. So everybody has 7 chakras, and those are 7 points of light. They are aligned as such. And we've discovered those chakras are composed of scalar energy. It's not electricity. Those chakras are scalar energy entities. They're scalar energy vortices, if you will. And when we're working with this instrument, we've seen many people improve their emotional health, their mental health, by aligning those 7 chakras. Now, keep in mind, everything I do is with light. It's immaterial. It's non-physical. So this is a harmless procedure. And secondly, I work with photographs. So this opens up a new and emerging science in which we're working with light, scalar light with photographs, and we can balance the chakras, which are non-physical. Now, all of that calls to mind how we need a new approach to looking at the human mind, the human psyche. There have been photographs of the 7 chakras. They're real. There's a certain type of photography called Kirlian photography in which you actually can capture the chakras. And there are 7 of them. Now, why is that so important? Those chakras give off instructions. They broadcast instructions to our soul, mind, and body. And if we balance those 7 chakras, then we're balancing the instruction centers. So a scalar energy instrument can balance, can reprogram the 7 chakras, and those 7 chakras then will send out, will broadcast, administer instructions to our soul, mind, and body. That's very important. And whether people realize it or not, many people need a chakra balancing.
And what would be some signs that someone can identify that their chakras are out of alignment that you can possibly help them with?
I think there's a correlation between addiction and an unbalanced chakra. That there's a correlation between a phobia, a fear, or some type of procrastination and an unbalanced chakra. That is, if we had perfect instructions in our soul, mind, and body, we would not have those impediments. So one of the ways of overcoming, say, procrastination, a phobia, addiction, depression, would be to balance the 7 chakras. Now, that doesn't take away your free will, but at least it will improve the ability for you to recognize certain emotional circumstances, certain cognitive circumstances, and to weigh them in the balance, to at least accept the past, to accept the history in your life, and then move on. Many people have told me that a chakra balancing has served to give them closure for an emotional issue. And that doesn't discount what you went through. It's a matter of fact, it's a matter of history, but at least it gives it greater clarity and why it happened, and then the ability, the strength to move on. So a chakra balancing is really a balancing of self-awareness, your self-awareness in God. That's what to me, that's what a chakra balancing is.
Why do you think some people frown upon anything that like chakra, and why do you think you get that reaction from some people?
Very good. I've traveled around the world, and in countries in the Pacific Rim, they accept this because they grew up with it. But here in the United States and Canada, we were not exposed to that. Now, not to fault anybody, that's cultural. That's our cultural upbringing. So many societies, many cultures embrace that concept of chakras or chi or prana. I can tell you there's a vibrant following for chakras and what a chakra balancing can do in the Pacific Rim, from Hawaii to Singapore, throughout Asia. But in the United States, we're catching up because it's not taught in the schools and it's not taught in the homes.
Well, why isn't it taught in medicine? I would think that would be one of the places that would have introduced it to our lives, because if it's connected to our well-being, you would think some medical researcher would have caught this before you did.
It's a shame, isn't it? And sadly, prejudice does not help society, okay? Being closed-minded does not help society. We have to be open-minded. So when I speak of a chakra, I want to make this very clear, Jennylyn. I'm not pinpointing any religion or any philosophy or any scientific principle. It's a fact. There are 7 chakras. They've been photographed. Okay. Now, if they've been photographed, well, there has to be some credence to that. They exist. Now, with that in mind, eventually people will start embracing that concept that if there are 7 points of light that every person has, those 7 points of light are giving off instructions, information, then we really should want to be in alignment or balance those 7 chakras.
What do you think it's going to take to have more people like you bringing this education and resource for people so that we can start changing our lives and live better, healthier lives?
Yeah. Let me say this in general. If you look at society and you look at the problems we have, you're trying to solve those problems, which is good. That is meritorious. But if the solution is not working, then you have to move on to another solution. So there are many people in the world that are looking for solutions. And I'm saying not just for wellness, but for other aspects of life, is going to offer solutions. We're going to solve our problems. It's a technology like none other. It's unlimited. So hopefully people will think outside the box, be creative, and they'll start incorporating that there is another energy, scalar energy, besides that of electromagnetic energy, and that this other energy, chi, prana, 0-point energy, some people call it ether energy, call it what you will, offers a new paradigm. The horizon is bright. Now, what am I getting at? Well, I always use this analogy. Go back 200-300 years and look at the fact, at the promise that we have of technology in the past 200 to 300 years. Well, imagine you were living 200 or 300 years ago. Without this technology, life was crude, life was tough, life was difficult, because you did not have technology. You did not have the comforts that you have now. So technology should always be embraced as a tool, as a gift from God. What is scalar energy? It's a tool. It's a gift from God. And I'm saying once the world embraces this technology, it will serve to foster humankind. It will serve to change the world. I'm saying that scalar energy is a technology that will supersede the computer one day in importance. Will supersede the computer.
I'm gonna get flack for this, but I've been told I'm ballsy, so I'll go ahead and say it. Do you think that part of why this is kind of submerged and on the down low, not only because people weren't aware of it, but because it will hurt our pharmaceutical industry? Do you think? I mean, I'm just asking because I just need to know.
Yes, that's absolutely true. There have been other scalar energy researchers, and the powers that be have never really grabbed onto it or have never helped them. Why? In my estimation, scalar energy is a new way of doing things, and it upsets the existing economic order, plain and simple. Scalar energy is a threat to the money and power of some people and some organizations. And this new technology, people are just intimidated.
So sad, because
it
we're
is
putting stuff in people's bodies that is healing one thing and creating a problem for them somewhere else. But at the end of the day, guess what's happening? They're selling more drugs because you got to fix that other thing. So you need this other drug to fix that other thing. And you know, I don't know any other way to put it than to say, if I'm correct in making that assumption, it's just wrong.
Yes, it is wrong. It is wrong. It is immoral. So anytime you have a gift from God, technology, scalar energy is a gift from God. It's a divine energy. Why not embrace it? Why shun it? Well, why put it on the shelf? So again, use this analogy, people. Go back 200 or 300 years, and you're devoid of all the modern day comforts. You're devoid of modern day technology. you're living a very crude, rustic, difficult lifestyle. Now, fast forward 200-300 years in the modern day age, your life is much easier and it's much more comfortable. What am I saying? Scalar energy is another technology that will abet our comfort, will abet our lifestyle, will improve the human condition. Why not embrace it? Well, as Jennylyn said, there are powers out there, powers that be, that stifle this type of research. It is a threat. This technology is a threat to the existing military, industrial, financial complex.
I hope no one doesn't try to kill me, because I do voice my opinion carelessly on these shows. But I'm just somebody who's honest, and I'm not declaring that to be a fact. But if it is, I think it's wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong. It is wrong. We'll move on, but I'm glad you note that.
People have to advocate for themselves. So why don't you tell us now at this point of the interview, and then you can tell us again toward the end, where people can find a resource like yours?
Sure. I have one website. It is scalarlight.com. Scalarlight.com. And I would suggest at least go to the website and view the material. At the very top, we offer 15 days of free sessions. So if you're inclined, send in your photograph by way of email. We receive email photographs all day long. And your emailed photograph then will allow us to make a connection between the instrument and your auric field, or the instrument and your scalar energy signature. So we work remotely by way of photographs. There's no in-person sessions. Visit the website and we'll sign you up for a 15-day free trial. You may include photographs of your entire family. We'll accept as many as 12, 13, 14 photographs from a family. So include your pets. And the point I'm getting at is, once you experience this free trial, you will then have the working knowledge as to its benefits, as to how efficacious it is. That's how we introduce this new technology to the world, by way of a 15-day free trial.
But Tom, how does one know in those 15 days if you have done anything to change your life? Are the benefits of this blatant, or is it so,
They usually are significant differences. There usually is a significant improvement in your health, but only you can decide. So that's why without any interference, we allow you to email us a photograph, and we will provide you a chakra balancing, a germ cleanse, and we'll provide nutrients, all by way of your photograph. Now, again, the key element is you be the judge. And that's why we make this a very straightforward appeal to you.
So what do you want to say to someone watching this going, you want to sell your supplements and you want to sell your service just like everyone else?
Yeah, I do in the long run.
People will say that.
I get that. I do in the long run, but here's my ultimate goal, and I've said this a million times. I want to be able to establish a platform so I can work with people around the world for free. I want to provide free healing for people around the world. But in order to get there, I have to introduce it to people around the world. So right now, there is a retail website. Yes. What is my end goal? To be able to treat 7.8 billion people in the world by way of their photograph. In order for me to do that, I have to have a rather significant structure that would undergird this healing ministry. I don't have that yet. I'm one person. So before I can, so to speak, run, I have to walk. And right now we have a simple, straightforward retail website. The point I'm trying to make is this: try the 15-day trial. If that makes sense to you, you'll see that the pricing is affordable. Again, the long-term plan is to introduce this to mankind to essentially present free healthcare, free mental and physical healthcare for mankind. Now, if the road jumps on board and helps me, we can do that very quickly. Otherwise, this will take years and it will be laborious.
What types of diseases can you help with this? No, let me rephrase this question. What types of diseases have you successfully treated with scalar light?
Sure, sure. Again, I want to emphasize when we're working with this instrument, we work with a photograph. So the photograph captures the disease pattern. I've never worked with a human being in person. So what am I getting at? Your photograph copies your existing state of being. So by working with a photograph, we have found we can easily break apart the molecular structure of viruses, bacteria, and fungi.
From a photograph? One
On
photograph?
Yes, correct, correct, correct. Why? Because this energy is so versatile, and the unlimited ability of this energy is instructive energy. So we can instruct this energy to download instructions on a photograph and to destroy viruses, bacteria, and fungi. Now, that is all done energetically. It's non-local. It's all done remotely at a distance. But then people have to come to the conclusion that if that's the case with the photograph, will that help them also, their energetic pattern? Will that also help them as people? And invariably, many people say, yes, it has helped them because there's a connection of energy. In other words, the scalar energy on the photograph is the scalar energy on the person.
But you can take a, for example, sorry, I have a bit of a head cold. You can take a photograph, right? For
Yes.
example, a woman in her menstrual cycle.
Yes.
That photograph is taken in that moment,
Yes.
in that time of her life.
Yes.
How does that help you to determine what is going on?
That's very, very good question. Any photograph is always in the present moment. So, Jennylyn, you could send me a photograph when you were 5 years old.
Yes.
But when I work with you presently, it is always in the present moment. So I'm not treating Jennylyn as a 5-year-old. I'm treating you in your present moment. Now, what do I mean by that?
Yes.
Scalar energy is not subject to time or space. So when a person sends me a photograph, it's their state of health, it's their state of being at that present moment. So that in and of itself really, if you will, overrides electromagnetic consideration. In electromagnetic field, or in the world that most of us live in, everything is bound to one particular point in time, okay? But in a scalar energy paradigm, there is no time. In a scalar energy force field, there is no time because it's a different dimension. So regardless of when a photograph is taken of a person, it still is a function of the current moment, the present moment. So imagine that. A person's photograph always details their exact immediate constitution. A photograph of a person, it could be 10 or 15 years old as a photograph, it still correlates to their exact spiritual, mental, physical, emotional health at that moment in time. Because I'm not treating the person, I'm treating the energetic field.
That is really profound. Now, let me ask you this. A photograph of me when I was 5 years old, you
Yes.
could use to clear my scalar energy. But
Yes.
so much has changed. So basically what I'm hearing you say is the photograph represents my blueprint, but you can access my energy at where I am now.
Yes.
Through that photograph that was taken forever.
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm very, 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 very old.
You're too much. So what is my point? Only the mind of God can do that. And that's what I'm getting at. Scalar energy, and many cultures revere this chi or prana. They realize it has a divine character. And scalar energy, scalar light is from God. It's God's light. And only God can download or instruct as such. And only God can make the distinction between a 5-year-old photograph and you in the present moment. So what am I getting at? We have an infinite computer. We have an infinite information system. We have an infinite source of energy. It's God. Scalar energy is the manifestation of God.
Can you tell I'm mesmerized? I can't, this is seriously fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
And It's when something is this fascinating and off the charts, it's difficult to believe because most people can't wrap their minds around it. This is why I'm glad we're doing it. So I'm going to just throw questions at you that I can hear people asking.
Okay.
I'm going to be devil's advocate here because it's so new and it's so foreign. And whenever a concept is new and foreign as this, it's very difficult to believe because I've already mentioned you to a few people based on what you have sent to me, those testimonials. And they're all like, why don't more people know about him? How come he's not curing everyone? Why are so many people dying of COVID?
Suppression.
Answer, Tom.
Suppression. It's suppressed. I'm an open book. Why am I not being helped by the powers that be? They don't want to help us, people. The powers that be do not want to help us. Now, we have a wonderful grassroots movement. We are supported by people. We're not supported by large institutions, governments, academia, big business, no.
So how long and how much research have you put into this? Because you say it confidently and you clearly are sharing what you're sharing because you're coming from a place of experience and results.
Yes.
So tell us, how long have you been doing this?
I've been researching scalar energy now for 35 years. And I have essentially 35 years of experience. And it works. You know, it works. This is reality. And these instruments, when you have an instrument, I don't care if it's a car, an airplane, a computer, a watch, you know, those instruments perform a function. Well, my instrument, my scalar energy instrument performs a function. It can balance the chakras. It can destroy germs.
Tom, are you telling me then that you and your family do not get sick?
We do not. I'm 60 years of age. I'm never sick. I'm never sick.
So during COVID, do you just walk out there without a mask and you're not fearful?
In respect to people, I wear a mask, but I have mingled and I've been around. I actually earlier this year I was out on the Pacific Rim and I was traveling through airports, and I never caught COVID. If I did, then the day I caught it, it would have been destroyed. So I will say this to the audience: all of my friends and family members that are on Scalar, including the people who patronize us from the website, not one person has been rushed to the hospital with COVID symptoms.
Or anything else? They don't get a cold? How about things like skin conditions like psoriasis and
Psoriasis many times is a autoimmune disease, and I cannot address that. Okay. So to speak to the point, what is my capability? I've developed this technique so that I can break apart over 400,000 species of viruses, bacteria, and fungi. That's my current state of ability, to destroy over 400,000 different species of germs. Now, there's millions of germs, so I have many of the common germs, and that's how I program my instrument. Now, keep in mind, and I have to underscore this again, there are no in-person sessions because scalar energy does not require an in-person session. Scalar energy is everywhere, so we can reach you with this energy anywhere.
And what does your instrument look like, Tom? I'm sure a lot of people would like to see it. Is it nearby?
Yeah, no, it's not nearby, but I will, if necessary, I'll send you a few photographs. There are photographs on the website that show the instruments. Yeah.
I'm really happy that you're doing this. How successful have you been protecting people from COVID? And how many people have you been able to reach and block them from COVID?
I'd say thus far during the pandemic, we've worked with at least 30, 40,000 people around the world. And those that keep in touch with us, not one person has reported that they've been rushed to the hospital or that they have severe symptomology, severe symptoms of COVID-19. So after treating thousands of people around the world, and again, this is all by way of their photograph, and not one person is expressing significant discomfort from COVID-19, I'll let the audience draw the conclusion.
So you have never had a failure. You've never had a failure in terms of treating people. You've never treated someone and you found out down the line that somehow they got whatever you were trying to heal.
I'll answer it this way. When I program this instrument, I program it with actual photographs of pathogens, germs. So if I were to take a photograph of the COVID-19 virus and place it in the instrument, that photograph instructs the instrument to break down the molecular structure of COVID-19. And on account of the fact that the instrument has the ability to break down the molecular bonds of a virus, it always works. So the instrument does what I tell it to do. If I program the instrument to break down the molecular bonds of COVID-19, it will do so.
This is fantastic. Now, I know that you've cured a lot of people who've had AIDS, different types of herpes, the herpes virus, the COVID virus. Before we wrap up, what haven't I listed that's well known to be tough to treat that you have successfully treated?
In some nations, they're suffering from cholera. Some parts of the world, tuberculosis, a bacterium. Dengue fever is a problem.
I had that.
Okay. So again, it's really hard to match the pathogen to the disease or the pathogen to the medical condition. So I just keep it very generic, and I tell people my ability with these instruments is to destroy over 400,000 species of germs. Now, out of that collection, the HIV virus is included, the herpes virus is included, the human papilloma virus is included. So what am I saying? With this scalar energy instrument, I can destroy HIV, herpes, or the human papilloma virus. So again, we're getting to that expression earlier of mine. The ability of scalar energy is unlimited because it's God's energy. It's unlimited, and this technology will eventually be embraced by the world.
I am so thrilled to be the person to share you with the world. And hopefully I'm not going to get flack for some of the things I say in these videos, but I just like to be authentic. Before we wrap, what haven't I asked you that you want to make sure you leave with the viewers?
I simply ask people to be open-minded to the research of scalar energy, my research and that of a few other scientists, and that pray to God, ask God for wisdom, for guidance. If this really is the gift that I project it is, you'll be part of a new movement in the world, a movement that will not only be able to eradicate pathogenic disease, but keep in mind, eventually we're going to use scalar energy to power the world. It's free energy. Scalar energy is from the sun, the stars. So this will be the new power source. It'll be star energy, which is free, and we will use scalar energy, star energy, to power our homes. As I stated earlier, it's a technology like we've never seen before.
Tom, thank you.
Thank you, Jennylyn. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Sure. I share a lot of people with the world, but people who are doing what you are doing need to be shared, because I am an advocate for humanity. And any time I can bring solutions for problems, especially the ones that can enhance your life and protect your life, I'm very happy to share. So thank you again.
Thank you. I'm going to mention the website again, scalarlight.com, scalar, S-C-A-L-A-R, scalarlight.com. At the very top of the website is a 15-day trial. Try it. You will convince yourself, yes or no, that there is an effectiveness about this modality.
And thank you so much for watching Conversations with Jennylyn. When a conversation is all you need to be inspired and educate. And I'm sure you're inspired by what Thomas shared with us. And I encourage you to try it, because I'm going to for the second time. I think I probably didn't follow the instructions the first time. So now I am on board 100%. And I will see you next time.
Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.